What's up, guys? Welcome back here. Today I'm back with another video, and these are 10 players who I think are gonna have a make or break season. The season could really boost up and put them to where they really should be at this point, or could really drop them and make them not look as valuable as they really seem. But before we start the video, you already know it's gonna be a banger, so make sure to drop a like on the video. Comment down below any of the video these you want me to do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. At 72 right now, it goes 100 by the end of the year. Now let's get started. The first player we're going to be having on the list is Lonzo Ball. He's coming off possibly his best year, averaging 11.8 points, 6.1 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1.4 steals, shooting a best 37.5% from the three. But remember, he was the second pick in the draft. People thought he was going to be what Magic Johnson really was. This season, he's going to need a good improvement because it's his expiring year. If he wants the bag, he got to show that he deserves the bag. And solid numbers like these are going to get you a decent sized bag, but if you want the big bag, you got to earn it. And with new point guards like Kira Lewis, Eric Bledsoe, is going to be really tough for him to prove it, especially if he doesn't show it at the beginning of this year. He needs to break out quick or his value could drop, especially on the pass. The next player I have is Marvin Bagley, who averaged 14.2 points and 7.5 rebounds, 46% from the field and 18.2% from the three, which is actually a huge drop off from what he averaged last year, which was 14.9 and 7.6 on 50.4% shooting and 31.3% from the three. It's actually a huge drop off from last year to this year, and now he's going to need a big step up because people are already flaming him for being picked before Luka and Trae Young and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but he's gonna get flamed even more if he doesn't turn out to be a big who can even stay healthy. And with the Kings looking like they're going to a more of a not very winning team, if Marvin Bagley can't produce on a not very good winning team, he's already a waste of a second overall pick in any sort of draft. So he's gonna need a huge step up and potentially not even like a huge step up, but show like he's gonna make improvements and can be a bright spot for the Kings' future, or else it's gonna be really bad for him. Next up is Lauri Markkanen on the Chicago Bulls, who after 2 great years, people thought he could potentially be an all-star this year, but took a huge drop down to 14.7 points and 6.3 rebounds, shooting 42.5% from the field, which was his worst, and 34.4% from the three, which is his worst. And he had a really good season, averaging 18.7 and 9 last year, and people were saying the blame's on Boylen, so that makes sense. But this year, he has a really good coach in Donovan, who's really good at developing players, as he did with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and what he's done at the University of Florida. If Lauri Markkanen does not break out, the blame's not going to be on the coaching no more. It's going to be on him. So he's going to need an improvement back to like the years he had in 2018-19. If he's going to be considered the second best player on the team, he's going to need a huge breakout, or else guys like Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr., and their progression is going to pass them. That'll be really tough on Lauri Markkanen's part. And if he expects an extension, a good one, he's going to need to produce. Next up is Markelle Fultz, who averaged 12.1 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. And this is going to be his contract year too. He shot 46.5% from the field and 26.7% from the three. One thing he's going to have to work on is getting that consistent jump shot. He's shooting better from the free throw line, shooting 73% after not even hitting 60% his first 2 years. And hopefully his development can be huge, but he's going to need to take a huge step up because one, not just his contract year, and now he was the number 1 overall pick, but you got Cole Anthony getting drafted as potentially the point guard of the future. And if Markelle Fultz does not develop, they're just going to replace him with Cole Anthony to be their star point guard and get a veteran backup point guard to give him lessons. And if Markelle Fultz doesn't improve to be a huge bright spot this year, he may not be a future point guard for any team. Next, we have Paul George, who had a really good regular season, but that's not the reason why he's on this list. It's because of his playoff series. As in the playoffs, he averaged an amazing 20.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 3.8 assists on an astonishing 39.8% from the field and 33.3% from the three. Yes, he shot really good from the free throw line, but that doesn't mean anything, bro. And he also averaged 3.1 turnovers per game, which I didn't expect, which is even more than what he averaged in the regular season. And he just had a bad playoff series. And remember, this is his expiring year. This will determine if they don't win now. A lot of blame is going to be put on him for him putting the blame all on Doc, which Doc's gone. And if Kawhi Leonard leaves, Paul George will likely leave. And people's expectations on Paul George will be much lower than what they already are. The next player on the list is Frank Ntilikina, who averaged 6.3 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 3 assists, who's already developed to be a better point guard than Dennis Smith Jr. after being a huge drop-off, which I didn't put him on the list. But Frank Ntilikina and Dennis Smith Jr. are basically on the same boat. If you want to be a future point guard and potentially be a really good player in the Knicks, you're going to have to break out this year. As the guard rotation is going to be y'all two, and probably like Austin Rivers. So one of y'all two are going to have to break out big time to potentially be a future guard in the Knicks, be a good rotational piece, if not a starting. But if none of them and they continue to stay the same, Frank Ntilikina will probably be a meh backup point guard for his career, and Dennis Smith Jr. would be considered not even a rotational piece for his career. Next up, we're going to have Malik Monk, who averaged 10.3 points, 2.9 boards, and 2.1 assists off 43.4% shooting and 28.4% from the three. This is mostly just from a consistency standpoint. It's your contract year. If you want to get extended, you're going to have to show consistency, but it's going to get tough because now you got Devontae Graham breaking out along with the signing of Terry Rozier and the drafting of LaMelo Ball. His minutes are just going to keep going down and down. So if he doesn't find any sort of shot of showing consistency, he may not be a rotational piece very time soon. The next player I have may surprise you. After these next three may kind of surprise you, but they're going to make sense. And that's Jerami Grant, who averaged 12 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. The reason why was because he got paid 3 years, $60 million, which Denver actually matched that, but he chose Detroit because he wanted more opportunity. So if he doesn't show that with more opportunity, he can become a really good player, he's going to be considered an overpaid player. Your aspect on a player can really change based on their contract and how they perform. If they barely improve with slightly worse efficiency, but making $20 million, $10 to $15 million more than what they were before, people are going to get so mad at that player and have a different perspective on them. So Jerami Grant, you're going to really have to break out with the Detroit Pistons, or else it's going to be a real tough scene for you. And an example of that's with Al Horford, who went from one of the most underappreciated players in most people's aspects to, oh my gosh, you're so overrated, bro. Why do we pay you that much? You're not even close to deserved it. After averaging 11.9 points and 6.8 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field, which is actually his worst of his career, and 35% from the three, which is his third worst of his career. And they changed because the fit with Joel Embiid did not work out. They could not play together. It made it worse for the spacing. And Al Horford was just considered not good and got so much hate for it just because he got that bag. If he was on an underrated contract, people would not think about it. They think getting an 11.9 point per game scoring a $5 million a year contract would be such a steal. But now this is his chance to really show that he's valuable. He just couldn't play next to Joel Embiid, but on a team like Thunder, where he has more open up space, he could really be something special and potentially a contender would want him. And the final player we're going to have is Mike Conley, who averaged 14.4 points and 4.4 assists, shooting 40.9% from the field and 37.5% from the three. He had a really inconsistent year, and that continued throughout the playoffs. Even though it was slightly getting better, it still wasn't that great. Actually, it was much better than I thought it was. He averaged 20 points on elite efficiency, but if he can continue that through the rest of the season next year, then it won't matter. But in season, if he doesn't show more consistency, this is his contract year, he may not get considered very good. You just came off of $33 million a year. If you're inconsistent and not get Donovan Mitchell more offensive help in the playoffs and the regular season, you may be considered washed by a lot of fans and players and teams and more fans, and it just may be a really tough scene for you. What do you got to think about these 10 players whose season is a make or break season for them? If you enjoyed and have any other players, comment them down below. Like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace out, guys.